Hello. Hi, it's me, Vicki Marie. Did you like the intro? I'd like to say that it was me who put that together, but it wasn't. I had a little helper. But anyway, let me know what you think of it. So, I'm sorry I'm not here, on the camera, but I'm just so poorly. I'm so poorly. Anyway, so I'm not here on the camera, but I'm here. I'm here in spirit, and I should really be in bed, but I'm not a very good patient. I'm not very good at just going to bed, even though that's really what I should do. But anyway, here we are, and of course, it's now been 2 months that Sebastian Rogers has been missing. Bless him, bless his heart, and just hope that he's somewhere, as his dad said, playing his video games. Hopefully somewhere, that he's okay. And the case, the mystery deepens, doesn't it? We've got quite a few things to look at tonight. The latest from Seth. Seth is Sebastian's biological dad. We're going to look at the latest from his private investigator, what they had to say, which seems to shed a little bit of light on what might have happened. We're going to look at the details about the vigil, because there's a vigil for Sebastian, with it being 2 months. We're going to look at the non-update from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. We're going to look at a video that's really good, sort of looking at the area. And I also have the divorce papers, or Seth's response to the divorce papers, but this part of me thinks I might not read those out because I don't know, it's just sort of private, that, isn't it? But anyway, maybe we'll see how things go. So the first thing I'm going to do is light a candle for Sebastian, of course. As you know, we light a candle for anyone who's missing, lost, but particularly because in this video I will be talking about Sebastian. The one that I've lit there is particularly for him. Let's have a look at him, bless him. So this is the boy that we're talking about, Sebastian, who's 15 years old. He's high functioning autistic, whatever that means, but I think he is quite independent from what his father said about him. We look at a few photos of him. Here he is with his snake, Brownie, apparently he was called, or is called. I mean, I presume the snake's still there. I don't know. This is Sebastian with his mum, Katie Proudfoot. And we've got this nice picture that I like of Sebastian and Seth. It's a lovely picture that they look so alike. And this, of course, is Chris and Katie. They're a little bit the villains of the piece, according to a lot of people. A lot of people are suspicious, but of course Sebastian was at their house when he disappeared. But we have to remember that the police, so far, they've said nobody's under suspicion. They said they don't think there's any suspicious circumstances, but the police do tend to say things like that, don't they? Until suddenly then they just arrest somebody, that's what happens. But we don't know what happened to Sebastian. It may be nothing to do with any of his parents. It may be something completely different. Now, before we just get going, I just want to read a poem about missing children. I just thought it was a lovely poem, and I thought, I know Seth in particular is quite religious, and I sort of half am, and some of you are and some of you aren't. So I thought a poem would be more appropriate, because everybody can relate to the fact that a missing child is a sad thing, whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God, or whether you believe in religion, etc. So I just wanted to read this poem, and this is by Neil Graham, Missing Children. If each star in the heavens went out in the night, would that show how I suffer here out of your sight? As the warmth of the morning unlocks the new day, will you know I walk with you each step of the way? For each day that elapses, each night that unfolds, I will treasure last visions and cradle your soul, pull you close to this empty heart, cuddle you tight, draw you out from the shadows and into the light, steal you out from the footlights and onto the stage, close the chapter on longing and write the next page. How I dream that tomorrow will replace today. With a chance I may listen to all that you say. But if time in its turning should take me from view, know I somewhere watch over each deed that you do, and feel in your hearts that for each absent day that I cherish and love you in just the same way, with a soul full of sadness and a heart full of doubt, that this story of loving should cruelly leave out a chance to embrace you with all of my might, my love in suspension, at least for tonight. So every day that passes is like another nail in the coffin. That's probably the wrong expression for the family, isn't it? Every day that passes and there's no news of Sebastian is just torture, I would imagine. Okay, so now I'm just going to come and say hello to you all before I carry on. We've got a lot of things to look at tonight, a lot of information to look at. So let's see. I wonder who was first. Hi, Chumba. Hi, Sonia. Hi, DMV. Hi, David. Hi, Karen. Oh, Karen's just come back from Turkey. Oh, lovely. Have you got a nice tan, Karen? The weather's been nice here today, but because I'm so ill, I haven't even been able to get out in the sun. Hi, Mara. Hi, Amethyst. Going down. You've all been chatting. Mara, I am in my jammies. I'm exactly in my jammies and my fluffy pink house coat. It's like, it's not exactly, it's not that you wouldn't want to see me at the moment, that's for sure, because my nose is all red. It's like that. And there'll probably be lots of bathroom breaks because I've been just drinking as much fluid, as possible. Not alcoholic fluid, the boring stuff like water, ginger tea, cranberry juice. I just keep drinking and drinking and drinking. Hi, Charlie. I know, his wee face, Mara says. Yeah, his little cute face. Hi, Caroline. She's in Queensland. It's 5:09 in the morning with your coffee. Yeah. Okay, so I think so. Hello as well to everybody who's at home. Not everybody wants to join in the chat. Some people just like to sit and watch. So hello to you. Remember to like, and if you've not subscribed yet, please subscribe. Think about subscribing. Those are free ways you can help me out. And as always, thank you so much to all my members. Lots of members here tonight. Lots of you, of course, have got Riley as an emoji for your membership. He's been for a haircut today, so he looks just like that picture. He's just like, I might take a photo tomorrow because he does look cute when he's just had a clip. He looks like, I don't know what he looks like, but he's still got his little Mohican, but the rest of him, it's all been taken away. So looks like Dobby off Harry Potter, Anyway, okay. So what we're going to look at first. So let's have a look at some details about the vigil. I need to remember to take I don't even want to take his photo off, and you just want to reach in there and sort of pluck him out and say, come on, come home, get on Get on your PlayStation, get on your whatever it is he plays, his Switch, PlayStation, Xbox. Where is this boy? Where is he? Anyway, so we're going to look at some details about the Vigil, first of all. So, I'm not very good with time, so I'm not sure what time it is in America at the moment. But there was an interesting little video on YouTube about the Vigil, and we're going to have a look at that. So this is again, there's so many YouTube channels that I've never heard of that I've heard of, from this case. This is Miss T33. I'm not really sure. Let's have a look. I'm not sure what kind of videos she normally makes. But anyway, she made this lovely little video that she put up yesterday about the Vigil. So let's light the path for Sebastian. Let's have a look.
Everyone, just wanted to spread the word of a planned vigil for missing autistic, 15-year-old, Sebastian Rogers. If you are in the area or close enough to travel, please consider participating in this vigil for Sebastian. The vigil is planned to take place on April 26 at 7:30 p.m. at Memorial Park, located at 151 East Main Street, Hendersonville, Tennessee.
Right, so what time was that? Does anybody know about, is there any Americans on the chat? Does anybody
Hendersonville,
know?
Tennessee. It has been 2 months since Sebastian has gone missing and loved ones. 51 East Main Street, Hendersonville, Tennessee. It has been 2 months since Sebastian. This vigil for Sebastian. The vigil is planned to take place on April 26 at 7:30 p.m.
So 7:30 p.m. in Tennessee. I'm not sure where we are as for 3:13 p.m. in Florida at the moment. So there's another few hours before the vigil, then I take it. Charlie's quite good with times and things. So, yeah, I hope they get a better turnout than the last one as well. It's very strange that there wasn't so many people there. Very odd.
At Memorial Park, located at 151 East Main Street, Hendersonville, Tennessee. It has been 2 months since Sebastian has gone missing and loved ones are asking we come together to bring light to this darkness and illuminate a safe path for Sebastian to return home, while sharing support for his family and loved ones. The bridge will be lit up in Sebastian's favorite color of green. Join a moment of silence, 2 minutes and 26 seconds, representing the date Sebastian disappeared. You are invited to share words of guidance and strength to demonstrate the solidarity of the community and beyond. Please share this information to everyone as I and many others continue to pray for Sebastian and the Rogers family.
So, yeah, I feel that was a nice little video. In fact, I'm going to play it again. If it was it's 1:30 in the morning in Spain, which is where I am. So, and with my cold and everything, I can't see that I'm going to be awake then. But having said that, if I thought that I could watch it live, if it was being live streamed, I would watch it, I would try and join in that way if I could. But anyway, I might find, I'd have to set an alarm because tomorrow's Saturday. I mean, obviously, not. If I was working tomorrow, I wouldn't be able to do it. But tomorrow I can have a little lie-in. So let's just watch it one more time. I thought it's a nice little video.
Hello everyone, just wanted to spread the word of a planned vigil for missing autistic, 15-year-old, Sebastian Rogers. If you are in the area or close enough to travel, please consider participating in this vigil for Sebastian. The vigil is planned to take place on April 26 at 7:30 p.m. at Memorial Park, located at 151 East Main Street, Hendersonville, Tennessee. It has been 2 months since Sebastian has gone missing and loved ones are asking we come together to bring light to this darkness and illuminate a safe path for Sebastian to return home, while sharing support for his family and loved ones. The bridge will be lit up in Sebastian's favorite color of green. Join a moment of silence, 2 minutes and 26 seconds, representing the date Sebastian disappeared. You are invited to share words of guidance and strength to demonstrate the solidarity of the community and beyond. Please share this information to everyone as I and many others continue to pray for Sebastian and the Rogers family.
So yeah, very nice video. So I hope they do get a good turnout for it. Now, the next thing I just wanted to show you is that, so because it's been exactly 2 months, so there's been an update by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation on their Amber Alert status on their website. But literally, basically the update is there is no update. But anyway, let's read it. Okay, so 25th. So this update was yesterday. April the 26th marks 2 months since Sebastian Rogers was reported missing from his Sumner County home. Since that time, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation special agents from multiple units have been assisting the Sumner County Sheriff's Office in efforts to locate Sebastian. These efforts have included multiple large-scale searches on the ground, in water, and from the air. The searches have included multiple local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies, including the FBI and Secret Service. Residents in the area have also conducted searches on their own properties in the hopes of finding Sebastian or learning what may have happened to him. To date, there have been no confirmed sightings of Sebastian since the issuance of the alert. Tennessee Bureau of Investigation special agents continue to review the information gathered since the investigation began, follow up on all leads or tips that come in, and work with counterparts from other law enforcement agencies to review strategies and consider options. The Amber Alert for Sebastian Rogers remains active. We continue to encourage anyone with information to call 1-800-TBI-FIND or send an email to tips2TBI@tbitn.gov. So that's it. So basically, it's an update that is saying there is nothing to update. It's a complete mystery, isn't it, this? So the other thing that happened is we did have a little update from Seth himself, and Seth has been on News Nation with one of his private investigators, because he's got a couple of private investigators now that he's working with. So Seth was on News Nation, and this is the interview that we're going to watch. Now, I found this interview really, really interesting, to be honest. I think, hi Yvonne, sorry, I'm just reading the chat. So Charlie says, Tennessee 7:30 p.m. would be 2:30 a.m. in Spain. Oh, it's getting worse, isn't it? I don't know, maybe if I go to bed early-ish and then maybe I'll wake up in time. As I say, if I knew for sure it was being live streamed, I probably would do a live stream myself, to be honest, so that anybody who did want to watch it, because there'll be some, I've got...
Me now is Seth Rogers.
Sorry. I have viewers from all over, so I'm sure there'll be some Australians and Americans that would quite like to watch that, and even some people in the UK or Spain or whatever who maybe are insomniacs. Sometimes some people don't seem to sleep much. So anyway, okay, let's have a look what happened in this interview. Now, to me, though, I felt like this was cut off, this interview. See what you think as we, I wanted to watch the whole interview, but I couldn't find any more.
Sebastian's father and Heather Cohen, a private investigator who is now working with him on the case. Thank you both for joining us. Seth, I have to start with you. First of all, I can't imagine being in your shoes. I'm so sorry that you're experiencing this, and I'm grateful that you're joining us tonight. I think our viewers need to understand Sebastian was not physically in the home with you. You are no longer married to his mother, but I just want to check in with you, see how you're doing, and if you know anything tonight that you can share with us.
Just know that he's still missing. I know that There's been really no leads that have been shared with me by law enforcement.
When you say there's no leads, are you working with law enforcement? Are they communicating with you?
Not communicating with me. If they're communicating with anybody, it'd be my private investigator.
Okay, Heather, I want to weave you into the conversation. You started working with Seth. Why are you working with Seth? And
so, yeah, as we've heard that before, haven't we? The police are not communicating with Seth, which seems a bit cruel, really, doesn't it? You know, because Seth is Sebastian's biological father. So why are they not communicating with Seth? He looks very sad there, Seth, doesn't he? You know, which I suppose is obvious that he would be sad, to be honest.
what can you tell us so far?
Well, I had received several phone calls, people asking me to get involved in the case, but I wouldn't do it until I was invited in by a family member or law enforcement. And I did end up getting that phone call. A friend of mine said they had talked to Seth.
Now, I don't know much about Heather Cohen, this private investigator. We're going to look at the Facebook pages of other private investigators he's been using. So I think he's currently got 2. That's what he said, wasn't it? On some of the interviews that we've watched, he said he's currently got 2 private investigators.
And he was looking for somebody, a PI to hire, and he had referred me. So I called Seth, and here we are. That was about 2 weeks ago. And yes, law enforcement was standoffish at first with me. And I think that's just because, you know, they had some, Seth can be hard to deal with because he's going through a lot right now.
Well,
Oh, so when she said that, Seth can be hard to deal with. Look, Seth crosses his arms like as his defensive foot. She does, you know, she's just being honest. He will be hard. I think I'd be hard to deal with, wouldn't you? If your child was missing, you'd be pretty hard to deal with. I mean, you'd want to do the best, obviously, but, you know, you can tell he's like, you know, not happy with her saying that, but crossing his arms and that. But of course, he's going to be stressed from searching every day. He's going to be tired. You know, it just must be an unbelievable situation. So, yeah, maybe he is hard to deal with because I think there are a couple of private investigators that have been and gone, but we don't know the reasons. But anyway, at least she's being honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of trauma. So what can you tell us so far about your investigation? What have you learned? What were the circumstances of the home, of his mother, of his stepdad, the thud that they heard?
Well, I can tell you that from my investigation, I believe that this is a domino effect of events. I believe that
so a domino effect of events. That's what she's referring to. It's very interesting what this PI says, I think, in this interview. I think she said too much, to be honest. But anyway, let's hear.
We have to go all the way back to probably December and January are going to be key months. There are a lot of events. There was a lot of turmoil surrounding Sebastian.
Yeah, so she said we have to go back to December, January, a lot of turmoil. So there's obviously been things going on that we don't know about, and I'm sure the police know about. Now, saying there's a lot of turmoil, Sebastian is 15 years old. We've talked about this before. There will be turmoil. There will and if there's a stepfather involved, it's hard enough with a father, isn't it? But you know, Chris doesn't seem to have lots of patience. Maybe you know, Chris, he's quite authoritarian, isn't he? Wants things done his way. So I would imagine with a 15-year-old. Forget the autism side of things, just the fact he's a 15-year-old boy, there will have been turmoil.
We know that Chris Proudfoot was in the middle of a custody battle with his ex-wife. We know that the daughter did visit over Christmas break. We know that Sebastian was with Seth during that time.
So what she's saying is Chris's daughter, which I can't remember her name, but it begins with T, does it? Does anybody know her name? She visited over Christmas, whereas Sebastian was with his dad. Maybe Sebastian didn't like that. Maybe Sebastian wants to be with his mum.
We know that.
Yeah, thank you, DMV. So it doesn't begin with T at all, does it? It begins with F. Faith, that's her name.
That there was a DCS referral in, I believe, February to the Stafford home. That call was likely determined to be unfounded because the case was closed and that file is restricted at this time.
Yeah, so a DCS call. So what does DCS stand for? Is it domestic something services? So, but then she says it was probably deemed, how exactly does she put it? Let's just watch out how she puts it.
Unfounded because the case was closed and that file is restricted at this time. I know Seth has.
So the case was closed and the file is restricted. So they can't get into that file to see what the call was about, what the reason was. So we don't even know who called who. Was it Sebastian? Did he call Childline or something like that? Or was it Katie rang, about Chris? Or we just don't know. Or was it Chris rang about Sebastian? Who knows? Because, there's a lot. I think that's when we see Chris and Katie being interviewed and it always looks like they're holding things back. I think they are holding things back. Definitely. But I don't think they've done anything to him in the sense of on that day. But I do feel that maybe he's run away because of their actions. Do you see what I mean? That's just how I feel about this, because I feel that if the police really thought, the police will have been right through that house, they would have checked everything, they'll have had forensics, they'll have had dogs in there, they'll have, of course they will. And they haven't found anything. So it just makes me wonder if Sebastian did run away. Because that 3-hour phone call that Katie had with Chris, maybe, well, you'll see what this woman says in a moment. There's some talk that Chris was trying to leave Katie because he was saying that he couldn't cope with Sebastian. I don't know if that's true or not. But it makes sense that maybe she was so busy on that phone call with Chris, and maybe Sebastian heard some of that and ran off. I mean, it's a possibility, but there's so many possibilities.
Tried to find out more about that call and he has been unsuccessful in doing so. But I've also recently learned that there may have been some talk about Chris leaving Katie. And I feel that probably had something to do with Sebastian. So
some talk about Chris leaving Katie. Now, of course, he works away. Maybe he had another woman. A lot of people were speculating that because Katie's has been held up as a bit of a villain, hasn't she? But without anybody knowing that she's a villain. But maybe he was, because there's been talk that she might have been having an affair. But maybe Chris was having an affair, and maybe Chris is trying to get out of the relationship with Katie, or was trying to. Maybe just literally could not cope with Sebastian because, as I say, 15-year-olds, they're difficult to cope with. And then add into the mix, the fact that it was autistic and the fact that I'm sure, because Sebastian, with the best will in the world, he would have probably used his dad a little bit against Chris. Kids do that a bit when they go in between parents, don't they? They can use it to try and get their own way about things. Sebastian won't have been like a little angel, who never did anything wrong. And maybe Chris, because he's just not that sort of, he can't be asked with anything that's too hard work. You know what I mean? It's he's got his daughter Faith. She's probably a completely different kettle of fish, and he do, you know, he just doesn't want to get involved with Sebastian because it's too much hassle, maybe. So maybe he was thinking of leaving Katie. And then Katie was trying to talk him out of leaving her. Maybe Sebastian overheard the conversation. It's another possibility, isn't it?
There may have been some trouble in paradise. To me, these are all things that need to be considered. Could these things have led up to maybe Sebastian just feeling a certain kind of way,
Right.
and leaving? You know, if he overheard a conversation between Chris and Katie where Chris is saying he can't deal with it anymore, he's out, whatever, you know, that
Right.
could have been motivation for Sebastian to just leave.
Seth,
No, of course it could be, but why did Sebastian not contact his dad then? Why did he not message his dad and say, because he was going to live with him. He was going to live with his dad. Now, I know for a 15-year-old, especially a 15-year-old with autism, he wouldn't be thinking, oh, well, I'm going to live with my dad anyway in September or whenever it was. He'd be just in that moment, like he can't cope with this. But to me, I would have thought his first instinct would have been to message Seth, wouldn't it? You know, rather than run out into the night with no shoes on.
I want to bring you back into the conversation. Was Sebastian safe at his mother's home?
I've heard some things. I have mixed feelings about that.
So she asked, let's just listen to that question again. So Seth is definitely keeping a bit more tight-lipped than normal in this interview. Because you know what I think, when he goes on the YouTube interviews, he does say too much, but it's probably later in the day, he's had a few drinks, he's tired because he's been searching. He's very tight-lipped on this interview.
Feelings about that.
Were you addressing it with your former wife?
Information that has been, I've heard some things. I have mixed feelings about that.
Yeah. I've heard some things. I have mixed feelings about that. So that's all he's saying. So remember, of course, they're supposed to all be working together now. You know, that was what the last vigil that was held. Chris apparently approached Seth. Seth said that in his own words. Chris approached him and they decided to put their egos aside. And then, of course, Seth made that sort of infamous little video telling everybody who didn't agree with it to F off. But he did apologise for it afterwards. But yeah, he's very quiet in this interview, just lets the PI speak. I think it's good that he's got somebody else speaking for him. But I just wish he wouldn't get on the YouTube channels.
Were you addressing it with your former wife?
Information that has been brought.
Hi, Mello. Hi, Misty. Hope you're both well.
To my attention has been information received since Sebastian has left.
And the morning after he left, what happened in the home? Can you answer that?
I know that I received a phone call on my cell phone that I didn't get until I got off of work. Everything else would be law enforcement or speaking to Chris Proudfoot to figure out what happened.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to join.
No, I think I missed them when I was saying hello to people. There is a point where the personal investigator, I'll keep calling her a personal investigator for some reason. She definitely says that Chris Proudfoot was definitely at work. Did I miss that? Let's just listen again.
Since Sebastian has left.
And the morning after he left, what happened in the home? Can you answer that?
I know that I received a phone call on my cell phone that I didn't get until I got off of work. Everything else would be law enforcement or speaking to Chris Proudfoot to figure out what happened.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to
Right. I think we'll go back to the
joinnn.com to
beginning
find
because
News
I think
Nation
I
on
missed
Joining me
that.
now is
Let's
Seth
listen
Rogers,
to the
Sebastian's
interview one
father,
more
and
time.
Heather Cohen, a private investigator who is now working with him on the case. Thank you both for joining us. Seth, I have to start with you. First of all, I can't imagine being in your shoes. I'm so sorry that you're experiencing this, and I'm grateful that you're joining us tonight. I think our viewers need to understand Sebastian was not physically in the home with you. You are no longer married to his mother. But I just want to check in with you, see how you're doing, and if you know anything tonight that you can share with us.
Just know that he's still missing. I know that there's been really no leads that have been shared with me by law enforcement.
When you say there's no leads, are you working with law enforcement? Are they communicating with you?
Not communicating with me. They're communicating with anybody who'd be my private investigator.
Okay, Heather, I want to weave you into the conversation.
Looked very sad there, Seth, didn't he, when he said they're not communicating with me, they're communicating through my private investigator.
You started working with Seth. Why are you working with Seth, and what can you tell us so far?
Well, I had received several phone calls, people asking me to get involved in the case, but I wouldn't do it until I was invited in by a family member or law enforcement. And I did end up getting that phone call. A friend of mine said they had talked to Seth and he was looking for somebody, a PI to hire, and he had referred me. So I called Seth and here we are. That was about 2 weeks ago. And yes, law enforcement was standoffish at first with me. And I think that's just because, they had some, Seth can be hard to deal with because he's going through a lot right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of trauma. So what can you tell us so far about your investigation? What have you learned? What were the circumstances of the home, of his mother, of his stepdad?
He did look angry there, Seth, when she said that. And then he starts typing something. He's probably sending her a message saying, why did you say that?
The thud that they heard.
Well, I can tell you that.
Now, that was a hell of an expression she made. Well, yeah, because that thud that supposedly Katie heard, not much has sort of been made of that, has it? What could that, do you think she did hear a thud? Do you think she did, or do you think she was making that up? And if she did hear a thud, what do you think it might have been?
I can tell you that from my investigation, I believe that this is a domino effect of events. I believe that we have to go all the way back to probably December and January are going to be key months. There are a lot of events. There was a lot of turmoil surrounding Sebastian. We know that Chris Proudfoot was in the middle of a custody battle with his ex-wife. We know that the daughter did visit over Christmas break. We know that Sebastian was with Seth during that time. We know that that there was a DCS referral in, I believe, February to the Stafford home. That call was likely determined to be unfounded because the case was closed and that file is restricted at this time. I know Seth has tried to find out more about that call and he has been unsuccessful in doing so. But I've also recently learned that there may have been some talk about Chris leaving Katie. And I feel that probably had something to do with Sebastian. So there may have been some trouble in paradise. To me, these are all things that need to be considered. Could these things have led up to maybe Sebastian just feeling a certain kind of way,
right,
and leaving? If he overheard a conversation between Chris and Katie where Chris is saying he can't deal with it anymore, he's out, whatever, that
right,
could have been motivation for Sebastian to just leave.
Seth, I want to bring you back into the conversation. Was Sebastian safe at his mother's home?
I've heard some things. I have mixed feelings about that.
So she asked him, was Sebastian safe at his mother's home? And he said, I've heard some things. I've got mixed feelings about that. Hi, Ocean, by the way. Hi.
Were you addressing it with your former wife?
Information that has been brought to my attention has been information received since Sebastian has left.
And the more
So what you're saying is that he didn't know about this until Sebastian left. Now, notice he said left. He didn't say went missing or disappeared. He said it before Sebastian left. So did Sebastian leave? Come on, Sebastian. Let us know what you did. Gosh, it's just, did he walk out and some harm befell him, or is he somewhere safe? That's all we can pray for, that he is.
morning after he left, what happened in the home? Can you answer that?
I know that I received a phone call on my cell phone that I didn't get until I got off of work. Everything else would be law enforcement or speaking to Chris Proudfoot to figure out what happened.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to
Now, why does it finish there? I'll tell you, I think they've edited that, because I'm pretty certain when I first watched this video, that private investigators said that Chris Proudfoot was definitely at work that day. Anyway, I thought that maybe I was imagining it, but you can see that video has been edited, has been cut off, hasn't it? Because they were still there talking. You know, she didn't say, oh, thanks for talking to us, or so it's definitely, that's not the whole video. So I don't know why that's been changed. I watched it first thing this morning, and I'm sure that private investigator, or maybe it's well, we're going to look at what the other private investigators say. So it may be that I've got mixed up with one of the others. Right, so I want to read you or show you and read you a couple of Facebook posts, because you know there's a lot of Facebook pages, you know, different pages about, you know, this one is Sebastian Rogers, Tennessee missing. And this is a lady called Colleen Donnelly. I don't feel bad reading it out, because at the end of the day, it's public. It's not a private post. This is for all the people that are bashing Seth. Until you've been something like this, either having a child taken, kidnapped, or unalived, you really should show a little grace, show some compassion. I can speak on this because I've been through both, and it's a living nightmare that you just cannot wake up from. You will relive everything you've ever done to this child, down to discipline, taking something away regardless. In fact, I'm going to stop sharing it because I've just realised it's a private group. So I think I can still read the post out, but I should not probably show the group. I'll get into trouble probably. Anyway, it's a living nightmare that you just cannot wake up from. Let's have a picture of Sebastian on there. Oh, I lost it. Yeah, so it's a living nightmare that you just cannot wake up from. You will relive everything you've ever done to this child, down to discipline, taking something away, regardless if it was out of love. Every argument, every fight, every disagreement, anything that has happened that wasn't a positive thing, you will relive in your mind and regret, regardless of the circumstance of why you did it. Seth is emotionally, physically drained. People are saying he's going on these shows drugged up. Well, he is, even if it is prescribed meds, as she said, it's still, he's still, what I think, he just shouldn't go on there. Somebody should stop him going on there. That is a crazy thing to say, this lady says. He's on prescribed meds from a doctor. He's running on little to no sleep at all. And the sleep he gets, I'm sure, is not a restful sleep because he's thinking of where his son can be. The public doesn't need to beat him up. He's beating himself up for not having his son, not doing something way back when hindsight is 2020. Hi, Jean. We've all done things or said things or didn't do something in our lives and wish that we could change it. That's why it's called the past, because you cannot change the past. I can say without a doubt that when Sebastian comes home, his life with Seth will be so much more different. So I hope people can get off the hate train. Yes, he dropped some colourful words out of frustration, but to my knowledge, at the end of that prayer meetup, he thanked everybody. He was grateful for everybody. And no, he's not out there begging for money. And just like everything, if you don't want to give, you don't have to give. And I agree with that. I mean, it doesn't matter, if people don't want to give to the GoFundMe or whatever it is, just don't give, It's like, and then people who want to give, let them give. You can't tell people what to do with their own money. You get because you want to, not because you're obligated, or so, like any gift you give from your heart. So before you go on bashing, I think that you should take a step back and think about what he's going through and also the outcome he may have to face. I pray he doesn't have to, because to lose a child, in my opinion, is the worst and most hurtful feeling a person can ever go through. And I don't wish anyone to have to go through that, because it's a pain to live with for the rest of your life. That pain doesn't stop. Team, let's find Sebastian and bring him home. And, it's very true, all that she says. You remember right from the beginning, I was saying it was not Team Sebastian, not Team Seth or Team Katie and Chris. At the end of the day, it's just Team Sebastian. Bring Sebastian home. That's the most important thing. Okay, so I wanted to read that out because I thought that was it. We try and be fair, don't we? Seth has done some things that we think of as being strange, but then we don't know what Seth's going through. So, it's that's just the way it is. Okay, now, so Nick Berries, I can share this because he's not put it as private. Just take that off. So Nick Berries is a journalist. He's a reporter. He's the one that brought us the is this the one? No, let's look at this one first. So, this is a private group as well, but this Justice Warrior Investigations, let's go on to that. See if I can go on to that. Don't think they're private. Now, Justice Warrior Investigations, these were helping out Seth. And so I just want to read out what they say. Update, Tracy and I have been working the Sebastian Rogers case for a couple of weeks now. And I must say, we hit the ground running. We had a lot of catching up to do. Again, I want to say that we appreciate every lead. So thank you to everyone who sent information. As we say in every case we work, please don't hesitate to call or message us with information. You may think it's nothing, but we won't know until we've had the opportunity to check it out. Obviously, I cannot share information that we have not eliminated, but I can tell you some of the things that we have personally ruled out. This is where I remember seeing, this is where I got the information about Chris. So this is not to be confused with the police's investigation and what they have or haven't ruled out. Number one, the sex offender that lives within a mile of Stafford is no longer a person of interest in my investigation. I interviewed him, got his alibi, and I validated his alibi thoroughly. 2, I can tell you that, hi Ali, I can tell you that I know for a fact that Chris Proudfoot was accounted for at the RV park on Sunday evening, and he was on the job site at 5:15 a.m. on the morning that Sebastian was reported missing. Number 3, we did follow up on the lead regarding Republic dumpsters being dumped at the Gallatin landfill that caught on fire. That is false. The dumpsters were dumped at AAA in Nashville. Also, I was able to confirm with the police that those dumpsters were checked thoroughly in the early morning hours of February the 26th. So it's interesting information. It's interesting to hear from somebody, you know, who knows, if you like, or who's investigated into it instead of rumours. We did follow, many of you have questioned what we, Chloe, DXM, myself and our teams are and have been doing. I cannot share that with you in detail, and I'm sorry for that. However, I promise you that we're all working very hard to find Sebastian and to get to the bottom of what happened to him. I will provide more updates when I have something that can be shared. This is not a 9 to 5 for us, it's a 24/7. Thank you all for your support. And then she goes on to say, what we have confirmed may not be the popular consensus. However, it is what it is. Heather has posted what is safe to post. Trying to poke holes in it won't change the facts. I mean, there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of people out there don't want Chris Proudfoot to be guilty, if you like, because they don't like him. You know, and that's fair enough. You don't like someone, and maybe, but just because somebody is a bit of a twonk, it doesn't mean they're a murderer, does it? So, you know, what she's saying there is that Chris Proudfoot was accounted for. So, you know, but people believe what they want to believe. Some, you know, if they don't want to believe something, sometimes they just won't have it. I've seen that. So many times. If people don't want to believe it, they won't believe it. Okay, and this is Nick Berries that I was talking about before. Well, really, he's just reading out 4 hours ago. He just really, you know, put the details of the update from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. What happened there? It's gone. Anyway, just disappeared. But to be honest, it wasn't anything that we don't already know. Oh God, stop it, Facebook telling me what I've got to do and what I haven't got to do. Okay, let me go on. Let's see if I've got another one to share. Let's see. I've already read that one. That's the same. Yep, that's that video we've just watched. So I think most of the Facebook things, I think we have gone through. So yeah, so even though we might not particularly like Chris Proudfoot, it doesn't mean to say that he is an murder. Doesn't mean that, you know. He might be a narcissist, he might be a twonk, he might be all those things. It doesn't mean to say that necessarily he has, you know, disposed of Sebastian. And I still think, why would he do that when Sebastian was going anyway? You know. Anyway. Now, Katie is another thing. I mean, maybe Katie did do something, but the police have given her a lie detector test and she passed. So, you know, we do have to take all that into account. even if we don't really like them, them as people, doesn't mean to say that they did anything. That's all. Ocean, I'm just reading what you said there. I thought that, but Katie was only 19 when they got married, so she was only, a child herself. Anyway, right. So now I'm going to show you a YouTube video, which somebody sent me. Thank you very much. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Sneezing. Oh, I'm still poorly. I'm going to show you this YouTube video that's very good for the area, to give us an idea of the area where Sebastian went missing. And this is a little YouTube channel. I don't know how many. Yeah, it's a strange YouTube channel. They've got 395 subscribers. I think I've subscribed. Yeah, because I like to subscribe, especially if I'm going to use their video. But it's a really good video because
Billboard, and I'll try to get that arranged as soon as possible.
it's a really good video to see the area. Now, I can't play it all because it is 1 hour 22. But anyway, let's have a look.
Here we have Sebastian's poster. I want to thank the Aware Foundation of Virginia. Thank you, Kenny Geralds, for making all of these wonderful missing flyers for all of the missing people out here in the United States. This is for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Please share to locate. Sebastian is autistic and he likes to hide under things. So TBI is asking residents who live near the search area around Beach High School along Long Hollow Pike to please check your outbuildings, your garages, your cars, and under your decks, anywhere where someone may hide and take shelter in case Sebastian used any of these as hiding places. And if you have seen...
yeah, that'd be JLR. Yeah, because he's good at JLR, isn't he, at going to actual scenes. Because it does, I mean, look at this area. I've seen sort of some pictures of it before and everything. It's very open, isn't it? Very, he would have been spotted, surely. Well, in the daytime, if he was running away in the daytime, surely, once it got light, surely would have been spotted.
Or know about where Sebastian could be, please do not hesitate. Call the Sumner County Sheriff's Office at...
Especially if it's here somewhere I can, be within driving distance ever get to.
Does he have a lot of energy? Does he like to go on long walks and things like that?
Especially off his medicine.
I really would like to get a billboard up for Sebastian. And I think I had mentioned that to you earlier. Do you think that this might be something that would benefit Sebastian to get his face out there if we could get a couple of billboards? Guys, give me some feedback in the chat and let me know what you think. I might could, crowdfund. That's what membership is for. When you guys are members of this channel, that's actually where your money goes, is to these little crowdsourcing things that I do. So I have some money already put back that I can put forward to it, but I probably wouldn't be able to keep it up for more than just a few days.
So this is the residence. So it's a very big residence, isn't it? It is big.
Because it can get expensive, but what do you guys think about that? Do you think, Trev, what are your thoughts about that? Do you think that having a billboard up for Sebastian might be beneficial?
I think so. I mean, it's, we've looked at that in plenty of cases, and you and I have spoken about that before, talked with, different families. It's at the very least, it's keeping that face and that story in the public eye. It's keeping people reminded of what's going on in their community, what's going on locally, what's going on the next county over, whether they work there, live there, travel through there, they're seeing it.
Well, I can certainly design a billboard. We can work together behind the scenes. You can send me a picture and let me know exactly what you would like it to say, and we can get we
I'm not quite sure why she keeps putting a cockroach on there.
can get something started on a blip as early as tomorrow. If you think that that's going to be something, I will look at the locations and I can let you know where they're at, and we can try to get something going. Cold Case Crystal, thank you so much for being here. That's another person that's on my team that covers cases, and she's in Kentucky. And Crystal, did you just send me a Cash App? Cold Case Crystal, thank you so much for sending me that, and I will definitely put it for the billboard. We're still going to put up some billboards for Jaden Carpenter, so you and I need to get together in the next couple of days so we can get these billboards up as soon as possible, because we need to help find Sebastian. Is there anything else that you guys want to share with us that you think that we need to know about the circumstances involving Sebastian going missing? Is there anything that you want to share with us that we have not talked about? I'm going to put up this flyer again here so you guys can take another look at that.
I mean, everything that we've covered so far, I mean, is exactly everything that we've covered.
JLR is known everywhere, isn't he? When you watch videos of people flag him down and say hello to him. It's funny. Everybody knows JLR.
We miss him and we want him home.
Exactly.
Baby home.
So is that Katie and Chris that are talking? That's Katie and Chris, is it, that are talking on there?
Yes, Mary, that is true. There is an anonymous group of Nashville business owners that have started a reward fund for Sebastian, and that is $3,000. So we want to thank those anonymous business owners for doing that. That's an amazing thing to do. I did ask the family if there was any other reward funds that were going to be activated at this time, and there are not. And that's all they're going to say on.
Yeah, that reward thing was funny. Why is the reward fund so small? Seth apparently paid for a year's rent in advance that he must have got off someone, and they've Chris and Katie, they're not without money, are they? So just wondering why there is, we talked about that the other night. Why is the reward fund so low?
That, and the families are entitled to privacy. Ginger snaps, absolutely, and they are entitled to respect, and they will get it in this house because today is 7 days, and this is a critical.
No, I've not seen I've not been watching the Karen Reid thing. I've been ill for a start, so it's trying to sort of concentrate on this and keep up with some of the Australia cases because. Yeah, Carol Ann was saying earlier, we're all waiting for Samantha to be found, and then there's been other things going on there. So no, I haven't been watched any of his coverage of Karen Reid, but I have seen him get into trouble before. I think he's quite brave. I hope he's got a stab vest on but because there's a lot of nutters out there, and they've got guns and they've got knives, and JLR is not popular with everybody.
Critical time that we need to come together, and Trev has been sharing information every day. He has been doing live streams, and you guys definitely need to connect. I will put you guys in touch with each other because he's local to Tennessee, and I know that he will be able to help in any way that he can. And we will definitely connect this week, and we will, if not tonight, then tomorrow, so we can get those billboards up. I will get with Crystal later, and we'll.
David, that picture has been put together by Photoshop. That'll be a picture of them together, and then that's not a picture of them with the poster. We've got to be fair to them. That won't be that. that's a picture of them together in happier times, and somebody's put the poster there. But it's not good. It shouldn't be on there because it looks awful.
You know, we'll talk about that and try to get those worked out as soon as possible. Is there anything else that you want us to share? Is there anything else that you think that we have not covered, Trev? Is there anything that you want to add to this conversation that you feel that we've missed?
Well, I just want to encourage people to keep going. It's, keep the hope up and keep sharing his picture.
So this is Trev, is it? Is this T-Rev, Trev, from the YouTube channel? Seth phones him quite a lot, doesn't he?
Keep sharing his story. Keep sharing his flyer. Keep praying
Bye, Ali.
that he returns. And keep listening to what we're told by authorities, because they're out there looking and they haven't stopped and they won't. We all play our part in different ways. If you're on social media, simply sharing his flyer. If you're here on YouTube, simply interacting with a video that has his information. Whatever it is, do it for Sebastian. Because until he's brought home, that's the mission, that's the goal, and that's the fight. And that's what we'll do, standing beside this family and beside those looking and beside Sebastian until he comes home.
Absolutely. It's the end goal. So if you see this flyer on social media, you guys can share this from my YouTube community wall from Trev.
Yeah, I think whoever's done this picture, that's not appropriate at all, because taking a picture of when someone's laughing, happy and smiley, and then before their son went missing, and then putting it with it's horrible, actually. That
you can share it from our Facebook pages. I'm sure Arctic Fox also has it on his page. Whatever we can do to try to help your family, please reach out to me and let me know. And we have a wonderful group of people in this community that will try to do whatever we can. And hopefully I'll hear something from Wings of Hope and they'll let me know if they're going to be able to try to assist. David Bryant, thank you so much for your super chat. He said, we're going to find him. Keep your head up and hug him tight when he gets back. Prayers for y'all. Everyone keep searching and doing what we can. David, I appreciate that. I'm going to take that $50 and I'm going to put it towards that billboard that I'm going to design.
Oh, so Trev is not T-Rev. I get confused with all these creators. Most of these creators before this case, I'd never even heard of him. And to be honest, some of them I wish I had never heard of him, because anyway, it's been an experience. Some are all right, but it's an experience to see what other people get up to on their YouTube channels.
We're going to get that up for Sebastian as soon as we can. I really appreciate you donating. It means so much. Well, guys, I really appreciate you joining us. If you have any updates that you want to share with us, please don't hesitate to reach out. If there's something that you want to share, if you want me to have another live stream, you may want to have a live stream with Trev. He has a large following on his channel, and some of those people don't necessarily follow my stream. So I'm sure they might, want to talk to you, and so we can continue to share out Sebastian's information, and you will be on my prayer list. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'll even share my phone number with you, and if there's anything that you need, you can call me.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Deep breaths. Deep breaths.
Just hope someone finds it.
You guys just keep praying. Listen, I'm going to let you guys go. And I will be in touch with you. Just text me tomorrow. We'll get together and we'll work on this billboard to get up. And I'll let you know the locations that are available for a billboard. And I'll try to get that arranged as soon as possible. If you need anything, just reach out to me and let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, see, that's more appropriate. That was a picture that was taken when they were being, I think that was when they're being interviewed by the Chronicles of Olivia, maybe, or by Nancy Grace, one or the other. And what's happened to this lie detector test from Nancy Grace? I mean, that's just disappeared. And when Seth was asked about it, he just avoided the subject altogether. He would not talk about it. what happened with the lie detector test? I'd like to know.
And I will put Trev in touch with you. Take care, guys.
Thanks for doing that and for having me up. Definitely we'll get in touch with them, and I'll coordinate some stuff with both flyers locally and talk to them about. And there's a search group that if they get involved, then I will be on my way to that area too, and I'll be on the ground. So.
Okay. Thank you, Sugar Magnolia. It's so good to see you, darling. I hadn't seen you in a while. She said, I'm in Warren and I'll be looking. I appreciate that. Alma, thank you so much. Watching from Nashville, checked my property all the time just in case. Ruru says, I'm in Knoxville, a long way away, but keeping Sebastian in my prayers. Continue to share this case. We're going to get that billboard up. And I've got some other people that I know in Tennessee too, Trev. So, you know, if you have flyers or things that you need to have hung up, maybe I can get Crystal or Michelle or somebody to meet up with you. Maybe they can pick up some flyers from you. We do what we can. Yes, Leslie says, I must repeat, check abandoned cars and vehicles. Please don't forget to do that. If you have trail cams, ring cameras, outbuildings, barns, crawl spaces, make sure you are checking everything. And just because you've checked it once doesn't mean that he might not suddenly show up there. Like, we don't really know the circumstances involved or where he may be. And
This boy is somewhere. Where is he? You know, even if he's not alive anymore, he is somewhere. He's not just disappeared off the face of the earth. It's just impossible. So where is he? Has somebody completely random took him? Somebody that nobody would ever think about. You know, I showed you that story about Sandra Cantu the other day. It was her neighbour, a woman, that had taken her away. And unfortunately, that ended badly. She was found, you know, not alive. It was a woman neighbour that had taken her. But in the beginning, all the attention was on her biological father. That maybe he had taken her, abducted her because of, you know, whatever reason. Thing is, sometimes things come out that are just nothing that anybody would have thought of. Maybe in this case it'll be the same.
No one has spotted him on camera so far. We did hear the stepdad say that they had hours and hours of camera footage, and he wasn't even spotted leaving their house on neighbors' camera footage. So, but she did say the neighborhood was very dark.
The signs that we've been blessed to have family, friends, and even some in the community that have been helping us, but we've been out spreading those as far as we can, even over state lines, trying to get awareness because, you know, not everybody knows that he's missing, and there's a chance that if someone could see him and not even realize who he is. So we want to get his face out there because we want him home.
Surprisingly, even locally, there are some folks that don't even know what's going on, and it's kind of
well, the thing is, they would notice him if he doesn't have any shoes on. You know, if you see a lad walking along, even if you don't know anything about the Sebastian case, I think you would notice if you saw some 15-year-old lad walking along with no shoes on. And then, of course, there is talk about the boots that Seth bought him. Apparently, you know, again, I don't know this. You know, did Seth buy him some boots? So people, you know, and this is something else that I don't really understand, because I feel that if Chris and Katie would have, or if Katie would have done something to him, or Chris, why would they have said that he went barefoot? Wouldn't they have said that he had some shoes on? Because at the end of the day, the police don't know what shoes he's got or what he hasn't got. So, you know, does that make their story seem more genuine? Maybe Sebastian did just run away because, I don't know. I mean, she said that he was frightened of bugs. If it, Nothing would get me out, go out and walk in all that grass and everything, especially if you were terrified of bugs. And apparently he didn't like to get dirty. So the barefoot thing is a real mystery, I think. You know.
Like,
Well, all
shocker.
of
Like, how do you not know? You know,
Pretty terrible, to be honest with you. 24 days in, and there's a bunch of horrible things being said and a bunch of misinformation being spread, and my son is still missing. And so it's horrible. There's not a better word for it, to be honest with you.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to talk about Sebastian, or maybe we could just start there.
Yeah, I think Chris is still trying to join as well. A lot of people are accusatory when we speak. Oh, it's a lie. Oh, it's not us. And the
Well,
truth is no matter what any of y'all think, I didn't do anything to my son. My husband didn't do anything to my son. We love him dearly, and we are doing everything that we can to try and find him and bring him home. And his father loves him dearly as well.
mhm.
Yeah, you know, so she's never, to be honest, really said anything bad about Seth. And if you look at the divorce papers, there are a lot of bad things she could say about Seth if she felt like it. Yeah, and don't forget now that private investigator has said that Chris Proudfoot was at his work at 5 a.m. He was there the night before. He was there at 5:30 in the morning. Also, well, Katie definitely has taken a lie detector test, and we think supposedly Chris has taken a lie detector test, and they've both passed. You know, and it's if anyone's been suspicious with the lie detector test, it has been Seth. So, you know, if that would have been Chris Proudfoot who would have fallen asleep in the middle of the lie detector test, it'd be all over the internet. So I personally, I don't think they did anything to him. I'm not saying that Sebastian was treated well or that, you know, it wasn't from their actions that maybe he ran away, but how could they have actually done something to him? How could they without there being any evidence?
I wouldn't want to be in your shoes. Let me say that. I would not want to be in your shoes.
I wouldn't want anybody to have to be in my shoes, to be honest with you. It's nothing any parent should ever have to go through.
Right, right. People just have a lot of questions, just trying to make sense of everything.
Well,
So,
it's your opinion and you're entitled to it, obviously, but I can tell you that the pain that his father and I, and even my husband, are feeling right now is immeasurable, to be honest with you. And I have never in my life would I have ever dreamed that this would be a reality.
Hey,
we all have opinions, and there's no stone we can leave unturned. We have to think outside the box, but we all want Sebastian found.
I mean, unless you got proof, don't open your mouth, because it's real simple. I don't have any of that. Good luck finding it. I've never lied to you.
Oh, this is the one when he was on that can't remember her name, her channel, and he got quite angry, didn't he? Chris got quite angry on that channel. Oh, let me just press. Got to press.
Y'all have been open and honest. People don't like my answers, so people want to come back with their own assumptions. And I'm so sorry that I can't open up and give you every little piece of evidence and every little detail that we know. I am terribly sorry. It sucks, because when it does and it can come out, my only question to everybody else is, when are you going to start issuing public apologies? That's not to you. That is to everybody that wants to come out and badmouth people that don't understand and don't have a clue what's going on. And I think that's pretty fair.
Their past is, or what they say, if they can help you get Sebastian's name out.
So when you and I'll be honest with you, I've heard some of yours, and the toxicity that comes out of what you guys projected about me has only toxified everybody else that puts in a lead or says, well, check out the stepfather, do this, do that, call law enforcement, check this out, do this.
Quite frankly, Sebastian's going to find out what everybody's been saying about his parents, and I can't even imagine how distraught he's going to be, but we have to find him.
I mean, and it sucks.
I want to just side note, he's not clapping, y'all.
He's not what?
People keep saying that he's clapping. He's not clapping. That's just background noise.
Oh, I don't hear any. Yeah, y'all.
Some people have heard they're clapping, and that's fine. Yes, I'm currently working. No, I do welcome the hard questions. I do.
Well,
and I'm okay with it. And for the record, I don't have a problem talking with JLR or anybody else. Now, if you're one of these shows that are for profit, you want to talk, you go out and publicly announce it publicly that any money that you make on the show, as long as me and my wife are involved, that money gets directly posted to signs, flyers, or billboards to help find our son. I'll do it. But if it's for personal gain, it ain't happening.
Nobody is going to dictate my money ever. Like somebody just gave me $10. I spent that today in gas and going and getting flyers and doing whatever just on Sebastian. That's where I knew you just said that. So
right, but that you're not monetizing on. You're utilizing it to do something to put it forward.
Right.
But those people who want to pocket money, on the other hand, I'm not about pocket. I'm not lining your pockets.
Right. No,
and
I get that.
I'm going to be very respectful because I don't want to say it like I would normally say it, but I tell everybody.
Feel free.
Well, no, because if there are some folks that don't like cussing.
Well,
but understand something, and I'm respectful about it because I'm being positive here. But if you don't feed me, finance me, or sleep with me, I don't owe anything to anybody at that point.
Well, I think we kind of think a lot there, and
See?
I don't have to.
Oh, that's an interesting turn of phrase, isn't it? If you don't feed me, finance me, or sleep with me, I think I'm going to adopt that. I think that's a really good saying, actually. Yeah. When I get a troll on, I'm going to say, if you don't feed me, if you don't finance me, and you don't sleep with me, I don't care what you've got to say.
Take in consideration him going to all these places, not just to help Sebastian, but all these other people. That's not free. Saying
right, but if
Nancy Grace is tougher than most men. Come on, she is. I know he hasn't spoken to any men, but he's probably a funny guy. But at the end of the day, passed his lie detector test, and he was, he's up to now. We don't know that he's done it. He's definitely odd. Just that expression that he said then: "If you don't feed me, finance me, or sleep with me." It's a bit of a funny thing to say, even though it's true. Of course, it's true. But yeah, I think Nancy Grace, she didn't pull any punches. She doesn't pull any punches. When you're going to go on Nancy Grace, you're going to get tough questions.
If I'm on his show, we're talking about my son's case. I understand there is a situation of my son, not everybody else's. And I know he's doing his thing, and I appreciate it. What I don't appreciate is some of the stuff he does put out there that when I've asked the guy, I said, do you have proof? Do you have physical evidence that I am anything what you say?
Oh, sorry. And one other thing, I know that Seth rings men and speaks to them like Pascal and T-Rev, etc. But they don't ask him any tough questions, or if they do, like when T-Rev was trying to ask him about the lie detector test and about the divorce papers, and Seth just swerved those questions. T-Rev didn't go in there and ask him about them, so I don't think he's had any difficult interviews, to be honest.
And he doesn't. So then keep my name out of your mouth. It's real simple.
And then you don't want him, like if he does this, because he's there now. So, and you don't want him to monetize on that. He's talking about your son, correct?
Yeah, if he's going to monetize, take that money, go buy flyers, go buy yard signs, put it on the billboards.
Okay, all right.
I mean, and that's fair. I'm asking. He wants me on the show. That's fine. Then I want a public acknowledgement that you're going to donate every dollar that you make off of my son's show to finding him.
Okay.
That's fair.
One other thing, because
yes, ma'am.
Before we kind of get started, and the only reason is because fair is fair, and I want to say this. Listen, no matter what happened, don't jump on me yet. I'm not finished with my statement.
Oh, I'm not. You're fine.
If it was an accident, if it was he walked off, if he crawled off, if it was, no matter what it was,
right.
I feel for everybody. Okay.
You've got a lot of viewers. I'm not saying your viewers. So let's make that super clear so that viewers don't get that construed with anything. But there's so many people out there with their insinuations. And because you asked that question, it would not surprise me to see a comment. Well, that's because they cleaned the house before the cops got there. Trust me. We have seen it all, heard it all. People are putting stuff out there that is completely obtuse from the truth, and it is ridiculous.
Okay, so there was a guy on there that said, and I'm sure y'all watched it, that said everything needs to be re-looked at, researched, but everything needs to be spread out more areas, you know.
We've been pushing to spread the search because with the amount of people that we've searched with and had search, and all the volunteers and all the law enforcement with the area that they searched for so long, we feel like if he was that close to home, we should have been able to find him. And so we've been searching out farther than just like within the 5-mile radius, but we've been pushing out and we've been searching farther away from the house, looking for any signs and posting those signs all the way to the state line and then some, in all directions.
People think that y'all have not been doing the flyers. I mean, but y'all have been doing the flyers. Is that correct?
Absolutely, we have.
You absolutely have. Okay.
So let me help some people with some information about things. When it comes to searching, flyers, those signs that people have taken pictures and posted on Facebook that say missing, the yard signs.
Yes.
Those came from us. My mother is a real estate agent. We've got some friends in the business that can help do things, and my mother was able to get the signs for us. So the signs have been distributed between me and Katie and my mother. We've got some really great friends in the family. We got a great community who we have handed signs out to, and they have gone out and placed them. Flyers, we've had, I can't tell you the amount of support that the community has put together as far as helping us with these flyers. We go to make copies of a flyer somewhere, and we asked them, said, look, I just need to know how much it's going to be for this many. And bless everybody that has done this, because a lot of people will only have us pay for 100 of them, but they'll give us 500 of them. Mm-hmm. We've got people in the community that when they hear it, they're like, no, we're paying for that, not y'all, we are. I'm like, no, I appreciate it. I really do. If anything, we'd like to give you some, you can pass them out, whatever. So it's been out there. There's billboards across this entire state. I can tell you personally, from Memphis, Tennessee, all the way to Nashville, going down 40, between 240 and I-40, there's at least 7 billboards that were out there posting Sebastian. There was some in Rivergate, some in Madison. There's some out toward Knoxville. I mean, the reach that we have gotten put out there.
We spoke with a podcaster who focuses on sharing missing persons cases in the South.
My channel is just about helping to find missing people and get their information circulating out there, because the more that people share the information that I put out there, it's going to put that in front of a whole new group of people that might not otherwise see it if they're not subscribed to my social media channels. And it really takes a community. It takes a village of people working together, because you never know when somebody's going to see something and say, hey, I recognize that child.
Through her platform, donors have sponsored 2 new billboards in Nashville, sharing details about Sebastian, one headed to the Rivergate Mall and one headed to downtown Nashville along I-65 from Hendersonville.
There, we've gotten a company that will have in Spanish and in French.
Oh, that
the flyers are
Mhm.
being pushed all the way up into Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're reaching out. We've got great family and friends and blessed people out there. Like I said, if we've never meet you, and I am sorry, I wish we could. I wish we could shake everybody's hand and give everybody a hug, regardless of how you feel or what you think. But the fact that you keep his name in the public view alone, we can't thank you enough.
And I will keep his name and everything out.
Well, if you don't mind me, so I don't know how to say this any other way, and please forgive me because it's going to sound like a jerk.
Say it. Say it.
It's going to sound very jerkish, but I don't want softball questions. People wanted to ask me the hard questions. By golly, let's get these hard questions out. Sorry, but I just.
Well, have you ever had CPS called on you before?
Yes, I've had it. Well, I'll be honest with you. I've had CPS called on me in 2 states, New Mexico and Tennessee.
Did that include with Sebastian?
Tennessee was Sebastian, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And in fact, Sebastian here, like I said, I got nothing to hide. So Sebastian went to school one day because we were at the house. He got in trouble. He didn't have a belt on. I was like, where's your belt? And got it. Whack. Kind of got him. So he goes to school and he tells the teacher. They're mandatory reporters. So the teacher reports it. That afternoon, CPS shows up to the house while we're actually sitting down to eat dinner. Now, mind you, 15-year-old child, he's not real happy because he's in trouble, so he's being punished. So he shows, he makes a report. They come to the house, and the lady who comes to the house is the same lady we've had. She's had a case before. Now, the case that was before was something that didn't even happen, and it's like 3 stories that were shoved into one. And when they finally got it debunked, they were like, "Oh, he got so mixed up in telling one story, it mixed into 3, and it caused a commotion." Well, they canceled that out. So the one on me, she shows up, and I said, "Hey, how you doing?" It's her again. She's like, "Oh, hey." She goes, "Hey, I already don't." She's like, "Don't tell me anything, but I'm gonna tell you what I know happened." And I said, "Okay." She goes, "Boom, boom, boom." She told me exactly what happened. I said, "Yes, ma'am." She goes, "Oh my God." I said, "Yes, ma'am. This is how it's been." Sebastian thought by telling on me, making it sound like I was so horrible.
There you go. Okay.
That I was going to get in trouble over something stupid. And I was like, "No, Sebastian, you got punished, man. You got punished." And he was like, but, and I was like, "You got punished." And the lady took him outside. She goes, "Sebastian, just because you get in trouble and you get punished, you need to understand when you go and you say things about people and you lie and you fabricate things and you make it sound worse than what it is, sir."
So basically, he's saying that he didn't hit him with the belt, that Sebastian maybe said that. Well, Sebastian did say also that Seth had hit him, and Seth said he didn't hit him, didn't he? And that he fell and banged his head against the wall. But that, of course, he was a lot younger then as well. So, I don't know, but nothing came of it, did it? Nothing came of it. The problem that you've got here is, what is the truth? It's his word against Sebastian's, unless Katie was there. But if she was, then she obviously took Chris's side. If it was, was it true? Did he hit Sebastian with the bell? Sorry, I'm just thinking. You know, that wouldn't be you know, kids do say things. You know, so I don't know. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I don't know whether he did hit Sebastian with the belt or whether Sebastian, because I don't know Sebastian either. But sometimes, so I don't know what to make of that. What do you make of it? You know, where is the truth and where is Sebastian?
You can get in trouble for that. So we had that happened, and the lady was like, I am so sorry. And I said, no, he's just a child. He's upset. It is what it is. I'm okay with it.
So what are you saying, that he's just admitted that he whacked him with the belt and that wasn't the child protection person didn't think that was? Let's go back and I need to listen to that again. I thought he said he didn't hit him with the belt, but anyway.
It's out.
All right.
Sorry, but I just.
Well, have you ever had CPS called on you before?
Yes. I've had it. Well, I'll be honest with you. I've had CPS called on me in 2 states, New Mexico and Tennessee.
Did that include with Sebastian?
Tennessee was Sebastian, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And in fact, Sebastian here, I'll just, like I said, I got nothing to hide. So Sebastian went to school one day because we were at the house. He got in trouble. He didn't have a belt on. I was like, where's your belt? And got it. Whack. Got him. So he goes to school and he tells the teacher.
So, right. So what he's saying is that he got his belt and whacked. That were what? What does he mean, whacked him with it? Hang on, let's listen again. In fact, I'm going to put the captions on, see if it comes up on that.
If you don't mind me. So I don't know how to say this any other way, and please forgive me because it's going to sound like a jerk.
Say it.
It's going to sound very jerkish, but I don't want softball questions. People wanted to ask me the hard questions. By golly, let's get these hard questions out. Sorry, but I just.
Well, have you ever had CPS called on you before?
Yes. I've had it. Well, I'll be honest with you. I've had CPS called on me in 2 states, New Mexico and Tennessee.
Did that include with Sebastian?
Tennessee was Sebastian, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And in fact, Sebastian here, I'll just, like I said, I got nothing to hide. So Sebastian went to school one day because we were at the house. He got in trouble. He didn't have a belt on. I was like, where's your belt?
First of all, actually, why do you get in trouble if you haven't got a belt on? Why do you get in trouble if you haven't got a belt on? Because why do you get in trouble for that? It's not like really doing anything wrong, is it? Not forgetting your belt.
And got it. Whack. Got him. So
and got it, whack, kind of got him. Got it, whack, kind of got him. Okay.
He goes to school and he tells the teacher. They're mandatory reporters. So the teacher reports it. That afternoon, CPS shows up to the house while we're actually sitting down to eat dinner. Now, mind you, 15-year-old child, he's not real happy because he's in trouble, so he's being punished. So
if he was 15, it's not very long ago then, is it? Because he's 15 now, isn't he? So when was that? Supposedly, there it happened.
he shows, he makes a report. They come to the house, and the lady who comes to the house is the same lady we've had. She's had a case before. Now, the case that was before was something that didn't even happen, and
so it's the second time this woman has come to their house, but the other one was something that didn't even happen.
It's like 3 stories that was shoved into one. And when they finally got it debunked, they were like, "Oh, he got so mixed up in telling one story, it mixed into 3, and it caused a commotion." Well, they canceled that out. So the one on me, she shows up, and I said, "Hey, how you doing?" It's her again. She's like, "Oh, hey." She goes, "Hey, I already don't." She's like, "Don't tell me anything, but I'm gonna tell you what I know happened." And I said, okay. She goes, boom, boom, boom. She told me exactly what happened. I said, yes, ma'am. She goes, oh my God. I said, yes, ma'am. This is how it's been. Sebastian thought by telling on me, making it sound like I was so horrible.
There you go. Okay.
That I was going to get in trouble over something stupid. And I was like, no, Sebastian, you got punished, man. You got punished. And he was like, but, and I was like, you got punished. And the lady took him outside. She goes, Sebastian, just because you get in trouble and you get punished, you need to understand when you go and you say things about people and you lie and you fabricate things and you make it sound worse than what it is, sir, you.
Is that really what the social worker or whatever she is said? That he was what? I'm going back a little bit. Hang on. This is weird, isn't it?
So the one on me, she shows up, and I said, "Hey, how you doing?" It's her again. She's like, "Oh, hey." She goes, "Hey, I already don't." She's like, "Don't tell me anything, but I'm gonna tell you what I know happened." And I said, "Okay." She goes, "Boom, boom, boom." She told me exactly what happened. I said, "Yes, ma'am." She goes, "Oh my God." I said, "Yes, ma'am. This is how it's been." Sebastian thought by telling on me, making it sound like I was so horrible.
There you go. Okay.
That I was going to get in trouble over something stupid. And I was like, no, Sebastian, you got punished, man. You got punished. And he was like, but, and I was like, you got punished. And the lady took him outside. She goes, Sebastian, just because you get in trouble and you get punished, you need to understand when you go and you say things about people and you lie and you fabricate things and you make it sound worse than what it is, sir, you can get in trouble for that. So that happened, and the lady was like, I am so sorry. And I said, no, he's just a child. He's upset. It is what it is. I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he sat that back down at the dinner table and was like, see, eat your food. And we went back and everything's been fine.
Yeah.
For clarification, no, I did not allow him to beat my son with a belt. He did not beat my son with a belt.
So he said everything's been fine since. Everything's been fine. That's what he said. So she said he did not beat I would not let him beat my son with a belt. He did not beat my son with a belt. So what did he do? Just lash out at him? I mean, what? What did he do exactly then?
I just said, well, in the messages that I asked that it was pertaining to Sebastian's school, right? Like you just said. And you said, no, other than him going missing, no CPS cases.
So you didn't ask, you asked about active cases. That's what you asked about. And I answered your question.
You did. You answered my question.
Okay. I can't hear him.
Okay.
Wasn't that man? Who was that man that he was talking to?
Can y'all now? I think
he's asked me, and I can't pull it up because if I pull it up, then we lose contact. But he asked me if there was active DCH, CPS, whatever you want to call it, case with Sebastian. And I said, yes, he's missing. I was told by the sheriff's department that they had to report it. So yes, there's an active case. Is there anything other than that? No, there's not an active case. So my statement that I told you is true.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I get it, the active investigation, but yeah, you did really. Maybe it's just because of text, but you did make it seem like there was no, like that this was the first time that they'd ever been involved at all.
No, I didn't insinuate. Now, understand something. Words on paper are simply words on paper. Whatever emotions you put behind them is directly proportionate to yourself, not me.
Oh, sir, I didn't put any emotion behind it. I'm just
saying.
saying.
But you're trying to insinuate on this show
No,
Yes, you did, sir. Yes, because
I'm
you
not.
just stated, you
I'm not
just stated,
insinuating.
you just stated that you said that I made it sound like this. No, I didn't. I told you, I gave you a direct statement, gave you your answer, and that right there is exactly what I'm talking about. Then you called into the show and you said, "No, you're lying." No, I'm not lying. So call a spade a spade.
Oh, so this is a caller who's called into the. He does like to browbeat people, doesn't he? He's a browbeater. He's like, and he's getting. You can feel he's getting angry. He's raising his voice.
But make sure you're right. Now, to be honest with you, it has nothing to do with finding my son.
You don't
So
think that you don't think? Okay, all right. Well, look, man.
how does CPS have to do with anything finding Sebastian? Because if you're insinuating something,
Well, you said they
come out and
opened up an
say it.
investigation. You said they opened up an investigation. So you tell me what it has to do with him.
Because what did I tell you? That's what you're not listening. The sheriff's department told us that they are required to report it to DCS, CPS, whatever you want to call them. They are required to report it to them. That answer has yet to change. It hasn't changed any of the slightest.
And okay, so that's the. Okay, I get it. So it's the only
Thank you.
open investigation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What's the next hard one we got? Fire away.
Okay.
I'm not arguing.
You have a padlock. Is that what you said earlier? That you have a padlock on the, like, I forget what they're called, but where you put the code in, a code lock.
Yeah, not a padlock.
I meant, yeah, I didn't mean a padlock. I'm sorry. The code where you put the code in.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So would he turn around if he left and actually put that code in? Do you have to put the code in to lock it back?
He locks the door behind himself every time he goes out it.
Okay. All right. Is there anybody might have had the combination that could have come in like while you were asleep that the dogs would not be alerted to or anything like that?
The only people that would have access to my house have all been interviewed.
And not only that, but if somebody had been by the front door, punched in the code, believe it or not, no, it's not super clear, but you would have seen a shadow or a figure based on, something would have been visible because one of the lights is still visible from that Ring camera from across the street. That has been, like I said, every video, and I've said this through Facebook, everything in the neighborhood. I couldn't talk to you enough positive about my neighborhood because anybody had cameras voluntarily gave up hard drives, flash drives, access to clouds for them. They've let people go in and search their houses multiple times without needing a warrant or a subpoena or anything. They've just openly done it. So, I mean, that's why it's so difficult right now.
But what I'm...
Yeah, I know he's a twonk. He is a twonk. I think we can all agree that he's a bit of a twonk. I don't know, though, about whether he had anything to do with Sebastian disappearing. I honestly, I don't think I do. Still don't feel that he did. When I look at Katie, she looks like always looks like she's running over something in her head. So that's what makes me know or feel that there's definitely things we don't know. Whether one of those things is that she did anything to him, I'm not sure, but she's thinking about something there, and there are probably things that we just don't know. But yeah, it's strange that what he's saying there about that that's an expensive neighbour and people will have cameras. Why was Sebastian not seen at all? Not going or coming back.
Asking is, how did you know that he went specifically out the front door? What made you think that?
We presume that he left out the front door. We never know 100%, obviously, but we presume based off of process of elimination, going over it with law enforcement, going over the house, where things are, how things are, Sebastian's routine And the fact that that's the door that he always uses or prefers to use, because I won't say 100% of the time he does come in with me through another door, but that's the door Sebastian prominently uses. That's the one that if he were going to sneak out of the house or leave the house for whatever reason, that's the most reasonable door that he would have left out of. Any of the others would have made noise or not
or would
been.
not have been locked.
Mm-hmm.
So the back door, so that the back door would not lock
from the outside like the front. No, you'd have to have the key.
So I can't. I'm not going to describe every door lock in our house to
No,
y'all.
I understand
That's a safety thing.
Yeah, I
But
understand that. Don't do that.
yeah, but what I can say is there's only 2 doors in the house that he could have gone out where he could have locked
from the
on his
outside.
own or from the outside. And the one he wouldn't have gone out because of how much noise it makes. Everybody would have, and plus it would have been seen on camera. Let's put it that way. I mean, it would have been seen on camera. So
yeah, he thought that was quite funny, didn't he? He does sort of laugh in funny spots. But why? What I tell you, what I don't understand in this case from all of them really is they're all obsessed with YouTube. Seth, Chris, Katie, and the police are just sort of quiet in the background, aren't they? So I suppose the police are just letting them hang themselves, really, hoping that they'll say something. The police will be sat watching, as we've said before, the police will be sat watching all these videos and seeing if they can, if they slip up or, just unless they are completely convinced that they had nothing to do with it. Just strange, or it's like they could set up a bloody Rogers YouTube, couldn't they? So, all of them, not only
suspicion or reasonable elimination of all these doors.
Instead of going on all these YouTube channels, they could, like somebody said earlier, they could set up their own for all of them. I just don't. I think I've thought about it a lot, and I've thought, if that was my child, I don't think I'd want to be on YouTube. Not like this. I'm not saying I won't go and do an appeal, like please, put the word out. That's what people normally do, isn't it? They go on, they make an appeal. But I don't think I'd be on YouTube every 5 minutes like the whole family are, to be honest. Not only them, but Seth as well.
Or it's front door.
Okay. There was no windows unlocked or anything like that.
Yeah, with the screens intact and things like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nothing exterior of the building of our house has been altered.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why it was like, oh, not only that, but for him to go out the window, so to speak, he would have landed in the flower bed and, barefooted. Yeah, we'd have heard something because he had landed on it and screamed.
Yeah. When y'all were out to eat Sunday, on that day, like when he went out to eat. Let's go ahead.
His tennis shoes, jeans, and a black t-shirt with Grogu on the front.
Okay. And then he changed before he went to bed into the black
sweatpants with the white stripes down the side and a long sleeve black shirt.
That I think
was originally listed on the missing poster as a sweatshirt, and everybody mistaken it for a hoodie. And even Seth said himself that we both were trying to get that corrected because when they said sweatshirt, everybody assumed it meant hoodie, not long sleeve black shirt.
Mm-hmm. And then another thing, they're not sweatpants. So some of these young cats out there probably don't understand where I'm fixing to go with this. But us older folks, go back and think of the 1980s Adidas pants where you had the.
What did he say? These young cats. Do people still say cats these days? That's like a 60s expression, isn't it? These young cats. But he's not that old, is he? He's how old is he? He's about 40, is he? Something like that.
The white stripes down the side, almost like a tearaway style pants. That is what the pants were. They weren't sweatpants.
Exactly.
That's why I'm like, older folks will know. These younger kids, I don't know if they'll know or not.
I just call them sweatpants, but
Well, there's a difference.
Okay.
Give me a good one.
Did you ever use a belt on him?
Have I ever used a belt on Sebastian? Yes.
Okay.
Outside of his clothes, on his buttocks.
Am I understanding this? You hit him with a belt because he didn't have a belt?
No.
no.
Okay.
No. So the question about hitting him on the outside of his clothes, on his butt with a belt, that was something that he got in trouble for because he lied to us and he got one lick.
People want to know this. If you're not there, how can you answer all the questions?
So if you notice, there's certain questions that you're asking I'm not saying anything about.
I know.
So as soon as you start talking about Sunday,
yeah. Okay. So
I don't say nothing. Saturday, I don't say nothing. But anything after that, from the 6th, from midnight to 6,
okay,
being on the phone with her prior to, yeah. I can answer those questions.
Reason like y'all didn't go to the vigil, the one by the high school? Seriously?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
So security reasons, and this is what I'm fixing to tell you is going to spark a whole bunch of stuff in the comments, and I'm not afraid to answer any of this. The young lady who started to organize this vigil never even contacted us. Not one time has any of these vigils taken place as somebody tried to organize them with us as the parents. I think the only one that's been somewhat organized with a parent is the one that was done in Clarksville with Seth. Other than that, the one that was supposed to be out in front of my house was a security issue. My neighborhood said, we don't want it here because our roads don't have sidewalks. We don't have easements. Technically, you're not even supposed to park on the street.
Yeah.
We found out about it, and then we found out that they were spreading it all over basically the county and state, and there was like tons and tons of people saying they were going to come. And there's zero parking here. It's not big gathering spot. So we asked for them to move it to the school, which is literally like half a mile from my house, if that.
It's not even that. It's like a quarter mile down the street.
Can accommodate all of the people.
Not only that, but some of the people, like some of the comments and the stuff that's being said. And
I know.
if you're in our shoes, it could be a security reasons, because if somebody shows up acting crazy, that's not kosher. One, it's not coming in our subdivision. I don't want it in front of my house. I don't need thousands of people in front of my house.
I know we're about keeping hope alive. I'm sure that's in there somewhere.
Oh yeah. Always. He's gonna walk through that door. And this street will be flooded again with family and relatives all waiting to hug and love him. And
That boy's gonna have more friends than he knows what to do with when he comes home.
And there was nobody else in the house that night with you?
Just me and my son.
Explain to me why you keep making comments about what people think of you, Chris. Why not focus on searching for Sebastian?
Well, I do focus on looking for Sebastian. But at the same time, when I said I'd answer questions and people want to put questions up there, and then you want to put your comments and your 2 cents in with a question, you're going to get an answer.
And
if people are interested in purchasing them or trying to get some ordered and sent to them, find me on Facebook, send me your just hit me up, and I will send you the point of contact, and you guys can reach out to him and work it out.
Get with you to get that about the signs or whatever.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, y'all, be nice.
Everybody's entitled to their opinions and their feelings. Don't get me wrong.
Now I'm flipping down it, and I'm like, what do you think now? We're 3 weeks later. What is your thoughts now? Like, what do you think?
I wish I had a freaking clue on where my son was, to be honest with you. None of it makes sense.
I mean, anything.
I mean, all I can say is everything that I've come up with, I've asked law enforcement to look into, and so far nothing has led to anything substantial in finding him. I mean, we've gone over wild probabilities,
Hey,
all
we got a
sorts of
lifelike bird
stuff,
inbound.
and we
10-4.
I haven't been able to figure out anything that explains where my son is.
They want to know, did the dog pick up that scent at the end of the driveway?
Can
So,
I?
Okay.
Go ahead.
No. So I'd like to clarify this whole dog scent thing for once and for all.
Mhm.
So the dog scent, everybody said, oh, the dogs didn't get a scent. Dogs didn't get. The dogs got a scent. What the dogs got and where it led to, there's a lot of misinformation as far as to the road, to the construction site, to this, to that, to this. For the record, there were so many dogs used. I don't know if we actually have a true count.
Sorry, I just went quiet there because I've been looking for Christopher Proudfoot on Facebook.
On the day one, there was 5 dogs automatically. We know for a fact. They brought dogs in from out of state, different counties, all over the place. But of all the dogs, there was a couple that took them through a construction zone and took them over to a retention pond. Now, the retention pond is no higher than knee deep. They walked it and they drained it. But from there, the scent disappears. There's poof. My answer is simple. We want correct information out there. We don't want false information. Which
Right now, just while I want to have a look at or read out to you something that Chris said on one of his Facebook posts. He said, oh God, I can't find it now. I was just literally looking at it. He was talking about the dogs. And he was saying that, you can't rely on the dogs or whatever. Let's have a look. Let's see. Right. So this is his Facebook. Anyway, let's have a look at his profile. I haven't looked at his Facebook before. We've got a motorbike. We watched this video on patrol. Nice motorbike. When was that? Oh, that's October. So he hasn't put any recent posts. Anyway, I did find a post, but we'll look at that another time. We'll carry on with this video first. Where's it gone? We'll carry on with this. We'll have a good look at
unfortunately,
Facebook.
Somebody has put out false information. And the downside is I mean, one anchor in particular, I don't need to put the name out there. The one news anchor, instead of just reporting, kept insinuating stuff, which in itself is a problem. And it drew the focus away from Sebastian and started focusing more on, who did it? Well, these people are, and that was a problem, so we don't want false information. None of the parents, none of the family members want false information. We just want the accurate information out there and people to focus on finding him instead of bashing parents or bashing something that they don't like, and just, if people would put that focus into finding Sebastian instead of bashing us, that would be amazing. We love you all regardless.
I think it would be great because she's got such a vast audience and a way of getting it out there big time.
Finding Sebastian is every bit of important as anything else. But at the same time, do I want to sit down with somebody who's drugged me through the mud, continues to drag us through the mud, and keeps putting false information out there, which causes a lot of problems, not just for us, but for the law enforcement folks that are also doing their job trying to find Sebastian. It's an issue.
What about Nick Barris? I mean,
That's who we're referring to.
Okay.
Right. And I think it's everybody out there. There's stuff that people don't know, and they're not going to be, they won't know because they weren't privy to the conversations. You know?
What would you say to Sebastian?
Oh, so it's Nick Berries that is not happy with, and Nick Berries, he's the one that showed the video of the lights, wasn't he? And he's the one I follow him on Facebook. He's not happy with Nick Berries. He thinks he says bad things about him. Interessante. Interesting.
Today.
I miss him. I want him home. Looking forward to him being back home. I'm looking to see, happy to get things back to normal instead of chaos. You know, I mean, I'm not a man of emotional words, but Sebastian, he knows. Deep down, he knows.
Oh, so he loves him, he misses him. Sebastian knows deep down, according to him.
Construction site near our house isn't like a skyscraper. It's just houses and homes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're building a small subdivision.
Well, we've searched it several times.
Well, I mean, it's funny you say that because I've got confirmation that there's folks in Australia, Spain, England, Austria, UK that they've got wind of this, and they've got some posters posted. So it was actually kind of cool. I've never thought that would happen, but that's pretty cool. Well, I said it before, when he does come home, you know, and everybody complained to how packed the block was with cop cars. Well, he's now become like the son of Sumner County, so it's going to be a long line.
The son of Sumner County. He does sort of laugh a lot, doesn't he? Say funny things, but I think Seth says funny things as well. I hope this boy is alive and well somewhere.
I want to spread his face to the ends of the earth and back because he's out there somewhere and someone does know something and someone needs to come forward. Whoever may have him, assuming that someone might have him, needs to let him come home. And we need everybody everywhere to see his face and to know his face. All the missing children. But I personally think that the more people that know his face, the more likely it is that if he is out somewhere, that more likely someone will actually recognize him and be able to call and we can bring him home.
Because you did it. You did what you were supposed to do as a man or a woman, excuse me. A new age thing nowadays. Sorry. Righteousness, the right thing, that will get you a lot farther than the rest of it. You know, I mean, it's one thing, and that's what I'm saying. JLR, this dude, he's gonna have to make a public apology. He's gonna have to make it public for me to consider him. And the reason why I say that is because how much crap he put out there and to the level he has gone to certain topics. There's one topic. Okay. My kids don't.
Yeah.
Don't cross that line.
I
don't care who you are.
I understand. I'm just saying.
I mean,
it don't even have
one of the reasons it took us a little bit longer to do some of these interviews. Okay. And this is before we started doing interviews and talking with media, we were kind of advised, hold off, don't do that.
Yeah, that'd be the police that told him not to do that, I'm sure. Now, hope you're okay. You know, it's interesting, this, isn't it? I wasn't going to play the whole thing because it's quite long, but I think it's been interesting.
Well, eventually got to the point we needed to start talking to the media.
Mm-hmm.
The parents, myself, Katie, and Seth, all decided, we made a pact in the beginning. Hey, if we're going to do this, we're going to keep each other in the loop. We're going to talk to each other and ask. We're not just going to go out here and do our own thing. Okay. That has always been our pact. You know, we would call Seth and say, hey, initially he didn't want to do any type of interviews, and we understood that.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, I said, hey, man, do you want to like phone in with us? Do you want to come to the house and we'll do this as a group? What do you want to do? We've tried and we want to do this as a group. You know, unfortunately, you know, somewhere along the way, we've all kind of gotten off track, and he's kind of gone out and done his thing. We've kind of done our thing. Mrs. Rogers done her thing. I think his sister may have done something. I mean, but it's everybody's getting the word out. I told you and made you a promise that I'd come talk to you.
Yeah.
Never promised them.
Yeah. It worked
And
out.
see, they could have jumped in on your show. I wouldn't have been upset with that. I wouldn't have cared.
Get prepared to put on my boxing gloves.
No, and I mean, you put on a boxing glove thinking this, you walking into a slugfest. No,
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
I told you what I would do, and I've delivered. And like I said,
Yeah.
you got people out there want to ask a hard question. And I got no problem still to this day. Tell them, find me on Facebook.
Yeah.
You want to ask a question that wasn't answered in the show? Hit me up on Facebook. Send me a direct message. I'll answer you.
Same as I was yesterday. Just
So there you go. Maybe I should send him a message. Well, I think I'm a bit scared of him.
continuing the search, continue looking. I'm not going to give up. Nobody can make me give up.
And where have you been searching? Where do you think he is?
I've been searching everywhere. I mean, anything out of that 5 mile radius that the initial search did, they covered everything there. But there's stuff elsewhere. I mean, we got a lot of territory to cover. And it being over a month, he could be anywhere
This is Seth, isn't it, talking?
currently. So I'm searching everywhere.
You, Katie, and Chris had a meeting with TBI today. Did you find out any new information?
Not that I can discuss.
Any progression that might show hope in this search?
Oh, I always have hope. Can't take that away from me.
And how confident are you that Sebastian is alive, and what do you think he's doing right now?
Pretty sure he's probably playing video games somewhere. Nobody's letting him, whoever's got him, they're not letting him see the regular news. They're not letting him surf the internet. Or else he'd know that I'm looking for him. And he'd know that he should actually be trying to get a hold of me.
Hey.
And that keeps me going.
Is there a strong reason to believe he may have been abducted?
I don't know if he's been abducted or if he's just, over at a friend's house. Never know. But I'll know when I find him. I'll know exactly what has happened to him.
And other news outlets were reporting that there were lights seen in the backyard that were caught on camera by a neighbor's video. Is that true?
No. What that was a trash truck. Went through, picked up trash, and when it left, of course, it went faster. It didn't have to stop to pick up trash. That's just false information provided by a particular person.
Did the dogs ever pick up a scent for Sebastian?
From my information that I've been given, no.
Did they find anything on Sebastian's cell phone that would, kind of show that he was going to run away or where he might be?
Not that I know of. He didn't have any internet access or anything on there. He'd have been able to call, text, take a picture, send a picture, use the calculator. That's about it.
Was Sebastian in school on Friday, the day before he went missing?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you, Chris, or Katie, or any of you suspects in this case?
No, we're not.
Have you been cleared?
I don't know if the investigation is still ongoing. we wouldn't be cleared until the investigation's done. But currently, from my understanding, they don't have any information that would attach us to any wrongdoing.
CPS has gone to Katie's house before. You didn't know about that until this investigation. How does that make you feel?
That somebody somewhere dropped the ball because I was never informed. And I'm the biological father. I have joint legal, joint physical custody. Somebody dropped the ball and didn't reach out and inform the father, which is me. And I don't understand why the state dropped the ball on that one.
And how did you find out about CPS?
Podcast.
And I mean, how does that concern you, especially with this case, that they might have done something to cause him to run away?
I don't know what that really means, but I just know that I don't have all the information.
Is there an official timeline? And I know people, there was, we went to bed at this hour, but does TBI or anyone have an official timeline as to the series?
I'm pretty sure they do, but I'm not involved in the investigation, so I wouldn't have it.
Have the three of you been in contact every day like you were several weeks ago about this?
I was in contact with both Kitty and Chris today, but I've heard he said his phone is open and available. Well, so is mine. You can leave a voicemail. Like 7 or 8 people have already left me voicemails today. I'm going. I get people calling me while I'm on the phone, and it's like, I can't just sit there and answer the phone for everybody. If I did that, I probably wouldn't be able to get out of my house.
There's been a lot of criticism over this investigation. I'm sure you've received criticism as well as the Proudfoots. How does that make you feel in a time where you're just trying to find your son?
People are being, that goes back to those keyboard warriors I talked about on the first interview that you and I had. They're still at it. They'll never stop. There's cowards in this world, and then there's people who are go-getters. My feet, they're on the ground. They're never going to leave the ground. I'm going to find my son. Period.
And plans, today on moving forward, any more resources being used on this investigation, or anything you have to say about that?
The United Cajun Navy is currently sitting down there right now at 90 Volunteer Drive in Hendersonville. 10:30. That's when volunteers need to show up. 10:30. Show up, have your ID, sign the paperwork, and they send people out in teams. When you show up, there ain't nobody there except for a couple people. That's because they've already sent teams out. They're just going to keep sending teams out until we find my son.
Have there been a lot of volunteers coming out to help find Sebastian?
Today there was, and I want to thank everybody who did come out. We're seeing an increase, and we're going to continue to see an increase. I'd like the whole state of Tennessee to volunteer, and then we'll hit other states.
And you're Sebastian's father. Tell me, what is Sebastian like?
He's a unique child. All right. It's really hard to describe my son. Besides being unique, whether he's up to no good or he's up to good, he's just got that uniqueness about him. It's really hard to describe. He's my mini me. If he has a goal, he's going to accomplish that goal. People at school, they liked him. All the kids are wanting to know when he's going to come back. They want to help and volunteer. Teachers are they're putting out prayers every day. Everybody, it's coming up. It's Easter. I'm hoping for an Easter miracle. I could definitely use it in my life right now.
And why did they search the landfill?
I have no idea. They didn't. Not part of the investigation. They're not going to tell me stuff. I am emotionally attached, as any parent should be.
And how often do you meet with TBI?
If I call them all the time. Call, text, hey, any new news? They either let me know or they let me know.
Are you happy with the work that all these agencies have done, or do you think there needs to be more?
There could probably always be more. We just got to figure out what more is necessary. Am I happy with them? I'm not unhappy. But you asked me that after my son's back, and it's going to be I'm happy. All right, because in law enforcement, it's always goal oriented. You know, go to work, put a smile on your face, get the job done. I know that they're putting their effort, 150% effort into this, and I appreciate that, and I'm hoping it will pay off with fruition.
Do you think Katie and Chris are suspects?
I have no idea.
Sebastian's been missing for more than a month now. What keeps you getting up every morning, going out and searching for him?
Being a dad, having perseverance, wanting him to come home, wanting to watch him finish growing up.
Do you wear this every day? Talk to me about this shirt.
This right here is my own billboard to find my son. People notice people. People notice what people are wearing. So I am a walking handout. I have these in my car.
How do you select that photo? It's so cute.
Because it's cute. It's got a smile. It's the last picture I took of him.
Okay, guys, Lady Freedom here. Sorry I didn't come in the beginning of the video. I just wanted to jump right into it. So I wanted to go over just a little reason why I wanted to post the entire footage of the neighborhood of the Texas Roadhouse routes, because obviously there were no signs on any of them. The last one that we're showing here is the highway, and there's none. So I just wanted to point that out. And the reason why I'm kind of harping on the yard signs, other than the fact that Chris was so adamant that his family, his family provided these yard signs, and we've distributed them around, and we're doing all this. Well, there's not even any missing posters, and that's their territory. So but a little history about why we've publicized missing people. So here's some of the origins. In the 70s and 80s, and then in the 90s, missing posters were used, and they were copied in printing shops, and they were black and white. They were grainy, just high contrast. They weren't very, very great.
It's definitely a vigil tonight, Jean, because we watched the video that was made about it. This is it, April the 26th, 7:30. It's 2:30 in the morning, apparently, like the path for Sebastian. So there is one tonight. 26. It's been exactly 2 months. We watched a little video about you must have been before you started watching.
Great indicators of what color eyes are or what color their hair is. Quote, "One does not just print 1 or 2 missing persons posters. When a loved one goes missing, one needs hundreds and maybe even thousands of copies to spread around." End quote. And that's Jell Havermans, who is the author of the article that I read about the missing person posters and how they came about. So he starts off by going into the milk carton kids. And so during the late 1970s and 1980s, missing child cases garnered a great deal of media attention in the United States. So among many children that went missing were 6-year-old Ethan Patz, and then also Adam Walsh. So Ethan Patz, he was born on October 9th, 1972, and he passed May 25th, 1979. He was 6 years old on May 25th, 1979, when he was taken on his way to school from the school bus stop in the Soho neighborhood of Lower Manhattan. His disappearance helped launch the missing children movement, which included new legislation and new methods for tracking down missing children. Several years after he disappeared, Ethan Patz was one of the first children to be profiled on the photo on a milk carton campaigns of the early 1980s. And milk used to come in a milk carton. So it was like you would get at school, like the little milk cartons, but it was a larger carton of milk, and people's faces and children's faces were going on the milk cartons with the missing information and letting everybody know that they were missing. In 1983, President Ronald Reagan designated May 25th, the anniversary of Ethan's disappearance, as National Missing Children's Day in the United States. And we also all remember Adam Walsh. So Adam John Walsh, November 14th, 1974 to July 27th, 1981. He was also an American child who was abducted from a Sears department store at the Hollywood Mall in Hollywood, Florida on July 27th, 1981. His severed head was found 2 weeks later in a drainage canal alongside Highway 60, Yeehaw Junction in rural Indian River County, Florida. His death garnered national interest and was made into the 1983 television film Adam, seen by 38 million in its original airing. His father, John Walsh, is very well known for his years of commitment to finding the dirtbags on America's Most Wanted. His son, Callahan Walsh, Adam's brother, works side by side with his dad relentlessly to this day. So he too was last seen with his mother shopping at the Sears when he was abducted. Back then, Sears was one of the powerhouses when it came to selling home goods, apparel, appliances. You could pretty much get anything at Sears back in the day. Now, Ronald Reagan's campaign produced advertisements on milk cartons and were used nationwide to publicize cases of missing children from the early 1980s until the late 1990s. And everyday product was used as a canvas for traditional posters in order to create awareness amongst the public. The portraits of the children were usually taken from school photographs, says Jell Havermans. In my opinion, it was a great way to bring awareness to missing children, since most households, even if you don't have kids, purchase milk. Now, Amber Alerts came around in the 1990s with the introduction of the Amber Alert system, a more modern child abduction alert system distributed by media channels and via SMS or text messaging that is still used in the United States today. So we all know about the Amber Alert, and it was initiated in the U.S. after the murder of Amber Hangerman in 1995. Her death sparked outcries for tougher laws on child molesters and initiated developments of the Amber Alert program, which used the SMS or text messaging, internet, and radio to quickly alert the public when a child went missing. Inspired by the success of the Dutch Amber Alert, the Amber Alert Europe Foundation was launched in 2013. In many European countries, public digital signs are used to display the image of a missing child, basically a missing poster. It's really, really cool. It can instantly be displayed on ATMs, digital billboards, road signs, and other digital displays in the public spaces. So really, really awesome technology there. That's over in the Dutch do that. So the increased use of the internet over the course of the 21st century largely shifted the spread of the missing persons to be distributed online. The FBI intelligence services and local governments have established online databases in which missing persons cases are archived and categorized, and then they can be easily accessible to investigators and the public. So that's awesome. Technology advances have led to the large improvements in the digital facial constructions as well. So digital technologies are also used to create age progression of the missing person as to match their respective appearance to what they look like current day. So if they were to be older, that's what they would look like. And there's a really uncanny resemblance, and many times the age progression photos are spot on. We know this because many of who have been found using age progression technologies, when they are found, many times they look just like the age progression photo. So it's really useful technology. And I guess the computer just takes all the facial features and arranges them as such, and it makes it look older. So it's pretty cool. The rise of social media further increased the online circulation and spread of missing persons flyers. Images on these digital flyers were often distributed in color and with more elaborate descriptions of the person in question. Its imagery sometimes matches the characteristics for product advertisements, since its colors are vivid and layouts are designed to garner attention from people. So that's why we want them to be really bright and have as much information as possible. Through online communities, pictures are shared and easily have helped to solve numerous missing persons cases. So everybody out there, the sleuths, everybody that gets all this information and creates these signs like what Duchess does, and makes missing posters and makes them so colorful and beautiful. I mean, that's what we need. That's exactly what we need, versus the old grainy black and white, because we need to know what this person's going to look like, so we have that in our brain if we see them around. And this brings us to the importance of the missing persons posters and signs. So billboards can be an absolute game changer as well, because they capture people's attention as they're living their everyday life. Now, during my research, I read an article by Jell Havermans, and it's called Missing: A Brief History of the Missing Person Poster in Society, Art, and Fiction. How the aesthetics of a missing poster can channel dread into our everyday lives. Now, obviously, I don't agree with many of the opinions shared by this writer, because I definitely understand the importance of missing posters. I believe we need to be aware, spread awareness, and be motivated when we see these missing photos and posters. It's a call to action, and the call to action is coming from the family members who are desperately trying to find their loved ones. The Proudfoots had so much support. So in the very beginning, 7 days in, we started out with Duchess, and they came on her podcast because Katie's cousin is a member of her channel, or a subscriber. And so she had reached out, and they went on there first before they even went and spoke with the news. So right off the bat, they go to Duchess, and Trev also was on there. He is so compassionate, kind, and helpful, and she is very well connected. Duchess is, the organizations that she has that help find the missing.
Sorry, I'm just not sure where this is going now. This is not interviews, is it? Let's see.
Several occasions that.
Yeah, I don't think I want to listen to this anymore. I didn't realise it had gone so completely off the subject. So yeah, so I have downloaded like the Seth's answer to the divorce papers, etc. But listen, what we've got to remember is Seth is quite a lot older than Katie. She was only 19 when she had Sebastian, I think. He's quite a bit older. Maybe Seth was controlling too. Women and men, you tend to go for the same type of person. So there's every reason to think listen, before all this happened, when they all were first being interviewed, Chris and Katie were saying Seth was great. They all had a good relationship. Obviously it's all gone to pot since Sebastian went missing, and then Seth's found out some things, and then he's got angry with Katie and Chris, and then they've got angry with him. But now they're supposed to have buried the hatchet, aren't they? So tonight, it'd be interesting to see at the vigil later, will Chris and Katie turn up? They're supposed to be going, aren't they? Will anybody else turn up? Because, that last vigil was very poorly attended, wasn't it? We were all surprised about that. Let me just put a picture of Sebastian up again. Because it's nice to just look at his little face. yeah, there he is with his favourite snake, apparently. So, yeah, a lot more to come out in this story. Where is this boy? Where is he? And, you know, he is 15. He is 15. He's not a little boy. You know, it's quite difficult, isn't it? Because a lot of the pictures that we've seen of him, of course, were of him when he was younger. I think this picture here in this grey hoodie, he looks more like, you know, what he was, which is a 15-year-old boy turning into a man. You can see that he is. You know, so it is possible. Maybe we're looking at sort of this little face and thinking, oh, how could he possibly survive? But he looks a lot older there on this picture. Maybe he could have gone off somewhere to be with someone. Listen, I've got to just think positive. I can't think that he's definitely deceased. I don't think it's fair on the family either. So, you know, Caroline, I've been ill all week. I've been full of a cold all week, but it's coming out now. So I'm hoping that means it's going to start getting better. I've been ill all week. But yeah, and it always gets a little bit worse at night, doesn't it? But yeah, I am full of a cold. I hope it's cold and not COVID, but I'm not going to do a test or anything, because what's the point? Well, touch wood. Touch wood, touch wood. I'm touching my head as I say that, but touch wood, I've never had COVID, so I'm hoping I'm not going to start now. I think it's just a cold. Well, of course, I'll keep you posted. I mean, I don't think I'll be staying up for the vigil because it's 20 to 12 here now in Spain, and the vigil is at 2:30 in the morning, Spanish time. So if I'm still awake, you know, but I don't think it'll take me that long. I don't think it'll take me that long to fall asleep, to be honest, because I am tired, but you never know. But yeah, this is Sebastian now, so it doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like the little boy anymore. He looks like a man, or he's coming into a man. You can see he looks like an adolescent boy, doesn't he? Or an adult, you know, what would you call it? But he's more than a little boy. This is how he looks now. So really, and he looks much more capable of looking after himself there, doesn't he, than he does on that other picture. Of course, he hasn't got his glasses on there. I wonder why he didn't have his glasses on. Has he got contact lenses? You know, or did he just take them off for that photo? Oh. Anyway, time will tell. Hopefully soon there will be some news of Sebastian. And Nancy removed what? DMV. Nancy removed the glasses. It was a photo edit. Why? Nancy Grace, do you mean? Why would she do that? Oh, sorry, I'm really tired. I'm going to have some toast and I'm going to go to bed. Okay, so yeah, no, yeah, our prayers are with Sebastian and hoping that he'll be found safe. Yeah, they weren't his glasses, were they, that were found? Oh, Faye, I thought it might be the flu when I first started with it. I thought, is this the flu? I can't even remember the last time I had the flu, but I don't think it's the flu. I think it's just a bad cold. Okay, so remember to live and love wisely, carefully. And as always, I'll see you really soon in the next video. I expect I'll be back tomorrow. Well, certainly if there's any news. If there's no news, I might have a night off. I don't know, or a day off. See what happens. There's always some news about something, though, isn't there? There's always something to talk about. So thank you so much. And as always, till I see you again, may your God go with you. Bye.